Hello, everybody. This is your favorite artist, Mark P. Bromley, the younger, born in 1969. I have to say 1969 because if you go through AI and ask about me, Mark Bromley, Mark P. Bromley, the artist, uh, AI keeps giving you the birth year of the other Mark Bromley in England that does artwork as well. And so I'm the younger one. I was born in 1969, right after Woodstock. In 1969. So it's a very important year to remember, 1969, 69, very important year of the yin and yang, where the ritual of Woodstock was performed in order to commemorate my birth year. Hooray, everybody born that year and the year after are all products of the soul of Woodstock, which is true. And anyways, you're probably wondering, what is Mark Bromley going to show you today? Well, I'm showing you the artwork of the Sleipnir Quadricorn Pegasus. That's what this is. It's the Sleipnir Quadricorn Pegasus. It's a drawing that I made in 2013. And I was looking really frantically around for this artwork right here, and I couldn't find it for a long time because it got buried and lost and things like that. And then Facebook reminded me what I posted 11 years ago was the quadricorn Sleipnir unicorn Pegasus. While I was actually creating a new family coat of arms for my son, so he could understand his family heritage through a family crest, through a family uh, logo of a sort. I guess the actual family motto of the Bromley family line, or my family line of Bromleys, because I did a lot of research in my family's back history and the importance of the Sleipnir Quadricorn Pegasus is based on the past of my family's background. Now, my family's background has a lot of involvement from the beginnings of, let's say, Charlemagne, the king of the Franks, who was the foundations for what uh, chivalry would be based upon. Came from Charlemagne, the Franks, and stuff like that, the French. And you'll see how this actually all works out, because there was also a Greek and Roman period within the Bromley family lineage, because we go back that far. And there's also a very strong Norse background or Viking background in the family line. And this goes all the way back to Normandy, France, when the Vikings would raid the coast. Eventually, France decided it was better just to give the Vikings a large territory called Normandy, France. And from there, in 1066, uh, the William the Conqueror would cross the canal, forming the English, the the nation of England would be formed from that invasion by William the Conqueror in 1066. So my family background heralds back to Vikings, hence Sleipnir, Odin's horse from mythology, and it's a quadricorn because a unicorn wasn't good enough. We have to have four horns on it. So that's the thing of mythology again, of background of family backgrounds and stuff like that. And Pegasus, it's a Greek myth of Pegasus, of Perseus and Pegasus, and it's a very good story about the Bromley family background. And so this is the European portion of the one of the supporters on my Bromley coat of arms. I'll show you that coat of arms later. Right now, I only have draft one of the actual idea that I'm going to put together that actually incorporates Naito Bromley, my son, who is the Uh, well, I joke around about it. I don't know if it's an acceptable joke or not, but because of his family background, he's technically the samurai Viking invasion of Japan. Woohoo! Yay! And I I should stop joking about that. People probably get too serious and not see the fun that it actually is intended. But it's just for fun. Anyhow, this piece of artwork right here, the Quadricorn Sleipnir Pegasus, was a fun little piece I did in 2013. I did it. I drew the parts individually. The wings were detached, drawn separately. Uh, to tell you the truth, these wings were actually based on dragon wings that I used to draw. Dragon wings for the Dragon of Azeron that I used to draw, a little short story I wrote back in high school. And anyways, that's why you see the dragon arm up there on this with the feathers coming out of it. So I was being just creative at that point. And then there's a lion mane because lion imagery is also part of the Bromley heritage because we are the Bromley family, believe it or not, is a significant mention in the history books. So historically significant. That's basically what it's actually detailed to. Because even here in the United States, the Bromley name has a lot of historical significance in multiple states where the Bromley name is found to be an originator, especially here in Colorado. One of the key founders of the state of Colorado is Emmett Ayers Bromley of Adams County, Colorado. And I was born here in Colorado, in Denver. And basically, all the way down into from New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, into Oklahoma, and the Midwest, you'll see a lot of uh, important contributions of the Bromley name to the creation of the United States of America itself, to the creation of England. You can find the Bromley name, believe it or not, in the Doomsday Book. There's a funny little story that during the time of Robin Hood, there is a Robin Hood story in the Bromley family lineage. And there is also a castle in France, Normandy, France, that was defended by a Bromley who was knighted at that point to defend a castle in France. And so this is where the story had many different tellings, and there was where the Vikings and the Roman Empire was part of France at one time and another. And so there is a Greek Roman influence in the Bromley family lineage, and the history is quite elaborate, quite lengthy. I mean, there's even a dance, one of the oldest dances in the world, known as the Horn Dance, celebrated in, I believe, Abbots Bromley of England, and Bromley is one of the largest parts of London at this time, and and that's just really important. And I thought it was really neat to make this design here. Of course, you're looking at the tail, and I with the first rendition of this piece, I created a little whippy tail because I decided the little whippy tail would be perfect. I didn't want to ruin the whole entire imagery, so I didn't go for a flamboyant kind of thing. And I was kind of mixed between going with a normal horse's tail or a manticore tail. You know, the stinger from a manticore on the back, like a scorpion stinger. So instead, I went with a whippy tail. So it's a nice little whippy tail on the first rendition. The second rendition, which is still in the drafting stage, uh, looks a lot different than this one, but it is a Sleipnir Quadricorn Pegasus with lion mane and whippy tail. And this is pretty much a fantastic piece of artwork that was actually taking into account a lot of cultural influences that shaped the Bromley family lineage, and was a perfect supporter for the coat of arms for the Bromley family name. And I passed that on to Naito Bromley, my son, so he could understand the real scope and depth of the history of his contribution and his family's contribution to the world itself, to the history of this world. Uh, I didn't want my son to feel that he was alone in the world or isolated. I wanted him to actually truly believe in what his future could be and should be. And so this is the European side. As far as his Japanese ancestry, I picked on the, well, when I get to the actual, when I show you that actual work that I did for the coat of arms, for the Naito Bromley coat of arms, um, I'll show you the other side for Japan, which actually has a samurai helmet on the knight's helmet, and it actually has a Rujin with pearls. I'm still thinking of adding the fifth pearl to the mouth because, I think Rujin has like five pearls, right? And so, yeah, it's Rujin, the dragon from the sea of the dragon. And why the sea? Because I was in the United States Navy when I went to Japan, so I sailed on America's finest flagship of freedom, the USS Independence and the USS Kitty Hawk, two aircraft carriers over in Japan when I met my wife. And and the family crest that I adopted when I was a boy is actually a griffin. And you'll see that in the next episode when I show you actually what I've done for the first draft for this whole entire thing. But I was so happy that Facebook showed me this, that I actually did upload this picture to Facebook about 11 years ago, and I was looking all over my house. I don't usually misplace my artwork, but the terrible government that we live in these days has people moving around so much that they're becoming disconnected and they're starting to lose stuff, especially when you're an artist. You can't be pushed around and moved around left and right without the loss of artwork happening in your lifetime because you have no place to store it or you don't have that kind of security. And it's terrible that such poverty is happening here in the United States. Such political persecution is a real thing here in the United States. I should know. I used to work for Homeland Security. I worked for the federal government for 10 years. And I was mistreated and abused and neglected because they decided I was a foreign spy from the state of Colorado in Utah. And my wife, being Japanese, was a foreign spy from Japan, apparently, according to Homeland Security, and that was the people in Utah. A bunch of real terrible individuals that I worked for, the worst individuals ever in the history of humanity. And that's why I started running for politics, because there are these terrible monsters in our politics and they attack artists. They try to destroy my artwork. And this is why I started this whole project of uploading my artwork and talking about it online through the YouTube. This is all copyrighted material. This is my material, my artwork. And don't be like the Northglenn mayor. Don't just grab my artwork and post it to your website thinking that you have a right to it. You don't have a right to it. Please talk to me if you want to use my artwork. Let me know why you want to use my artwork and offer me some kind of compensation because it is quality artwork that I actually produce. And like I said, there's this other person. When you search my name, Mark P. Bromley Arts, apparently I'm being suppressed in the Google algorithm. Apparently their AI is now trying to block me. That's why they said my birth year was 1960 instead of 1969, right after Woodstock, because they don't want you to know that I'm the Mark Bromley, the younger one that does artwork in the United States. And I've been doing it all my life. And I'm going to do a video also, and stay tuned for that one because it's coming up soon. And I'm going to show you this art history book that I got from Barnes and Nobles to show you and I bought it because it reminded me of my college and the multitude of history books in art that I studied that as actually part of my aura style that I've talked so much about that you might see in the actual credits of this that I tell you about what the aura style actually is. And local politicians during city council meetings, they tried to literally condemn me as an artist because they said that I drew pictures of nude women and nude men. And yes, I did. And why? Well, that's why I'm creating the next video, well, one of the next videos about the history book that I want to show you to give you an idea of what my art education was back in the 1990s, in the 1980s, 1990s, what type of art education I was receiving. what kind of art history I was learning from. And when you study world history, Western world history, you'll start to see a common theme between my artwork and European art history that shaped the world that we know of today. It's a very big book. It's very heavy. It's very big. It's quite grandiose. And you'll see a lot of commonality with the history of art from the dawn of man to the end of the 20th century. What the whole artwork, great works of art, are really called and entailed. And this bashing of me by my local city government and my art is completely unwarranted because the history of art tells a totally different story than the lies being told by these nasty Democrats here in Colorado. And this is something that has to come to an end in the United States. And we need a new birth of art, appreciating the history of art. And me, Mark Bromley the Younger, born in 1969, the artificial intelligence needs to get that correct. And Google needs to stop putting my work in the algorithm trying to suppress me, because I make a lot of artwork and it's all good. And as you can see, I did include my book covers for the first book of Yoranthium as the kaleidoscopic pattern behind this drawing of the horses. And you know, when I get to the Bromley, the Naito Bromley coat of arms and showing you guys that one, you're going to really appreciate that. And yeah, this is history there and stuff like that. And I'll start showing you a lot about world history and teaching you guys really about art rather than the suppression, the intolerance, and the hate that is brewing in the city of Northglenn and its own government because of these nasty skank Democrats that have no real respect for history or anything. And we'll rectify that here soon enough. All you have to do is just start helping me out, support Mark Bromley. Hey, I do have a Patreon page if you guys want to help me out with that. That'd be great. If anybody wants to join in and start talking to me, hey, just email me. Talk to me. Tell me what you guys think and what you're doing and stuff like that. And we'll start working on this. Hell, I'm a child of Woodstock. Yeah, that's what it is. Born in 1969. There you go. And anyways, this is the Sleipnir Unicorn Pegasus. Quadricorn, not a unicorn, it's quadricorn. It has 4 horns. Get that right. 4 horns on his forehead because it's more magical. Y'all have a great day.